All right, maximize it. No, maximize it, maximize it, maximize it. All right, even like that is okay. Okay, all right. The anthem will start now. Meet. Okay, you are muted in the studio. All right, fine and good. We can go. I will co-host you in the Zoom. Thank you. We are still live, right? All right, thank you. All right, sorry about that. We start now with the anthem.
This meeting is being recorded.
A minute silence to the fallen heroes of Biafra, and the time starts now. May the souls of the departed heroes and heroines of Biafra rest in peace, while their spirit continue to embolden us as we fight on to declare Biafra, restore Biafra, defend and keep it. He say, video anthem, please.
All hail Biafra, land of the rising sun. Love and cherish, we shall be. Sing all hail Biafra. Speak. We have been triumphant from came to make the see. Oh, hail Biafra, we shall always remember all that perished in the struggle for our freedom. All hail our heroes, our prayer shall be who day and night save and always hail Biafra. All hail Biafra, your star shines everywhere. Brave humanity, God guide and protect us all. Wisdom, shielding us unleashed by our enlightenment.
Thank you to everyone. You're all welcome to this very program as we hand over the mic to the Minister of Justice. Sit back and learn something from the Biafran government today. Minister of Justice, Honorable Jen, over to you, please.
Thank you, Mazi. Good morning, Ndewo from here in New Zealand. Welcome from around the world, and especially to our Excellency Prime Minister Simon Ekpa. I'm not sure if he has joined yet or if he's on. To all our members of Cabinet, liaison officers, and all distinguished guests, non nonanzuko nke mmalite o isimbido ikpe ziri ezi ministry. So I'll just share my screen as I start. Ahambo Jane Ngozi Wunze. ebim na New Zealand, and nam na nem nambonye Umuibi village na nembonye Onitsha. So yeah, ebem no now na New Zealand, delivering this meeting to you all. So again, welcome. I'd like to welcome you to the introduction of Ministry of Justice. Can you hear me? Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, sorry. I thought somebody said something. I'll just give, essentially a brief overview of what it will look like, what the Ministry of Justice will, what our aim, our goal is for it to look like. And here is the agenda, starting first with our vision, our mission, then the structure of the state, look at briefly at the court system, justice process. And then I want to touch briefly about where we see ourselves as we look forward, as we venture into the future. And then I'll allow for some time for questions at the end. So the Ministry of Justice is responsible for the authorities in the judicial system, including the Biafran police, the courts, prosecution service, legal aid, and through the public defense service and the Biafran prison and probation service. The ministry is also responsible for migration issues. The Ministry of Justice maintains and develops legal order and legal protection, reinforces the structures of democracy, and safeguards citizens' fundamental rights. The ministry is responsible for drafting the key legislation and maintaining legal order to ensure the proper functioning of the judicial system. Judicial powers are exercised by the independent courts. In addition, the Ministry of Justice is responsible for legislation in the areas around constitutional and general administrative law, civil law, procedural law, criminal law, public order and safety, as well as migration and asylum law. So our duties will include the following. So the Ministry of Justice are determined, the duties of this ministry are determined in a government decree. So some of the duties are performed by the agencies and public bodies within the ministry's administrative branch. So this will include law drafting in the fields of constitutional law, public law, civil law, criminal law, as mentioned earlier before, the development of law drafting within government, and the provision of advice on wider Biafra and international law, courts, court proceedings, judicial divisions. Our duties will include legal aid and general bar association, as mentioned as well. Sorry, somebody is drawing. I'll just clear that. Okay, general interest representation, prosecution services, enforcement service and supervision of the management of bankruptcy estates, enforcement of fines or infringements, community sanctions, and is there a way to lock? Sorry. Enforcement of fines, community sanctions, and sentences of imprisonment, the general planning of crime prevention and other criminal policy, improving the position of crime victims if the issue is not covered by other ministries, criminal records and other legal registrars, issues relating to pardons, international legal matters not covered by the mandate of other ministries, national elections, municipal elections and referendums, as well as the promotion of civic engagement, if not covered by other departments, party register and inspection of parties' accounting and use of funds, accident investigation, equality, and promoting good ethnic relations. So these are just examples, however, not limited to this list, and also it can be expanded to cover, the duties can be expanded to cover more things. But I think all in all, the Ministry of Justice will always work towards a safe and just Biafra, ensuring the rights of all Biafrans are upheld. Our vision and mission. So I've put three main key themes here. So the Ministry of Justice is committed to integrity and honesty in governing our justice system, striving to establish a trustworthy and reliable system for citizens. I think it is crucial to maintain a system that citizens can have faith in. The Ministry of Justice is dedicated to creating safe communities for Biafrans by ensuring the presence of police throughout all regions of Biafra, minimizing delays in law enforcement and response time. Transparency is key as well. I think transparency is a core value for the Ministry of Justice, promoting accountability by offering citizens full visibility into its operations. The ministry aims to grant all citizens adequate access and insight to its process and procedures. So these three themes will be at the root of our mission: integrity, safety, and transparency. Especially want to highlight safety. I think it not only is important to be in a safe community and safe environment, provide that for our citizens, but having them feel safe. And looking at the way things are now, a lot of people do not feel safe. When Biafra is actualized, that will be one of the key things that we will work hard to ensure, whether through our police, not only through our police, but through other measures, that our community members, our citizens feel safe. They can trust in if they need to report anything, they can trust that our police and our justice system will uphold and defend them and protect them and uphold what we stand for. So building a justice system that is fair, equitable, and accessible to all. Yeah, so our goal is to build a justice system that is fair, not just fair, but also equitable and accessible. Regardless of people's background or status, they will have access. They will be able to, yes, access the justice system. We are committed to upholding the rule of law and ensuring that justice is done that justice is not only done, but is to be seen to be done. So with regards to the rule of law, everyone is subject to the law, including the government. And our law will be clear and clearly enforceable. So we uphold the rule of law through our daily work to ensure laws are clear, predictable, accessible, publicly made available, and that the community can participate in the lawmaking process. Again, something that isn't currently happening in, dare I say, Nigeria. So we have to be different. We want our people to be able to participate in the lawmaking process. Laws are publicly adjudicated in courts that are independent of the executive arm of government. Dispute settlement is fair and efficient where parties cannot resolve disputes themselves. And I will touch a little bit more on that part. To achieve this, we will implement rigorous oversight mechanisms and engage in continuous dialogue with the communities we serve. By actively listening to the needs and concerns of our citizens, we can adapt and improve our services to better meet their expectations. And I think at the end of the day, the system is here to serve our people. So if we are engaged with them, if we involve them in the process, if we listen to them, we can do that to a very high standard. The Ministry of Justice will also prioritize the use of technology to streamline processes and enhance efficiency. Again, something I will touch a bit later on when I talk about the way forward. But essentially, by adopting innovative solutions, we can reduce bureaucratic red tape and ensure that justice is delivered promptly and effectively. So ultimately, our vision is to create a justice system that embodies the principles of integrity, of safety, and of transparency. We invite all citizens of Biafra to join us in this endeavor, as together we can build a just society, not just for this generation, but also for future generations. So looking at the structure of Biafra, so of course, we have the Constitution of the United States of Biafra in progress, about to be finalized. The Constitution of the United States of Biafra will operate at the core of the state's functions as a foundational document that aims to protect the interests, liberty, and rights of the Biafran people, safeguarding the independence and security of the country. It aims to promote the common welfare, sustainable development, internal cohesion, and cultural diversity of its people. Constitution will ensure the greatest possible equality of opportunity among its citizens, and it will commit to the long-term preservation of natural resources and a just and peaceful international order. Biafra Constitution establishes a confederate system of government, hence Biafra nation is called a confederation. Each of the 40 states is autonomous, so that is how it will operate. The central government has no coercive power over any state and its citizens, except whether the Constitution states otherwise. And yes, this is the updated list in no particular order of all our 40 states. Separation of powers. So power separation confers executive, legislation, and judicial powers of the Confederation on the three bodies as established by by our Constitution. So as you can see, we have the Parliament with the power to make laws, running under a unicameral method, or system, if I can put it that way. The executive arm with the power to administer laws and execute business of government through police, defense force, government departments, and other statutory authorities. And of course, the judiciary, with the power to conclusively determine legal disputes traditionally exercised by courts in criminal litigation and civil cases on such things as contracts and other legal matters as well. The powers of the national parliament and states are clearly defined by the Constitution for harmonious synergy between national parliament and the states. And so at the right time in the future, we will obviously hear from the team working on the Constitution. Our court system. This is an overview of how I suggest the court system, the hierarchy of the system should be. The role of the courts is to administer justice by enforcing criminal law, resolving civil disputes, and upholding the rights of individuals, ensuring they are upheld, and ensuring that government agencies operate within the law. So there are different structures. In my opinion, this is the most simple, but also efficient. So we will have tribunals and authorities at the lower end. And then So whether it's to do with tenancy, to do with immigration, motor vehicle disputes, licensing and certificates, taxation, charities, authorities, all different levels of tribunals, different kinds rather of tribunals and authorities. And then from there, if they were to appeal, it'll go into district courts of respective regions. And in the court system, we will have the youth, specific court for youth, family court, criminal court, as well as civil court. I think it's easier to have things like employment dispute tribunal separate, because it's more of a niche and it's more specific area. So for example, so I've put it here, if any employment issues can start at this employment dispute tribunal, then it will move to the employment court, which sort of stands alone, but on par with district court. Same here as having environment court and land court stand alone as well, just to keep things organized. So issues regarding land or the environment will be heard in their own separate courts. Then, if not resolved, the appeal can take place to the High Court. And then we will have Court of Appeal as well as the ultimate Supreme Court. And then just as a standalone as well is the Coroner's Court. And I think this quite well covers all, if not every aspect of our of society. But just moving back to here, I think I wanted to add something that I didn't touch on in the beginning, but it's basically to say that my vision as well is to see a modern justice system that cannot and will not be tainted by any form of corruption, and that delivers equitable process and outcomes for all. I also wanted to touch on Omenala Ndiwo. Our Omenala will restore the essence of who we are. I strongly believe in incorporating and intertwining Igbo traditions and Igbo way of dispute resolution first, where we can resolve an issue without having to use the court system, which will be here, but where it can be resolved without referring to this system, that will be the best way. Our Menala will restore the essence of who we are. Our ancient Igbo idioms such as Onye Bidibia and Onya Halawaneya will continue to underpin the way our system will work and thrive. And this will have a flow-on effect into our states, into our societies and communities. So moving back to the justice process and how we will go about it, the Biafran Ministry of Justice will engage a different approach. Oh, sorry, so this was where I didn't miss it. It was the next slide. Anyway, that's fine. We'll continue. The Biafran Ministry of Justice will engage a different approach to dealing with crime and civil disputes, including reintroducing traditional approaches of Omenala Igbo that are akin to the restorative justice approach. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the restorative justice in the legal industry. It's an alternative to the court system. So essentially, the two parties at dispute will come together and speak. Depending on, of course, what the crime, like what the offense that has been committed, it can get quite difficult, or it can be, it's case by case, I'll put it that way. But it has been proven to really help both parties see the issues from both sides. It has been proven to reduce a lot of unnecessary court time and resources. So yes, for example, the engagement of community elders and having the two disputing parties come together to converse where possible. The court process will still remain, as I said earlier. Traditional methods of resolution will take priority. So where Omenala cannot resolve an issue, the Biafran court system will prevail. That is the vision. That is the hope. So again, covering our criminal justice system, it will consist of three major components. That is police, courts, and corrections. So as I touched earlier in my opening, I think I mentioned how we want to build, within our police, we want to build a very trustworthy, reliable system. We want our communities and our citizens to not only know that be safe, but also feel safe. We want to be able to go, to be outdoors, to be walking, to be at whatever time of the day. It shouldn't matter. We are in our home. We are in our land. We should be able to feel safe. Police generally is the first point of contact that people, the first point of contact in the system, the first people see of the justice system, the first contact people make with the justice system, sorry. So again, having a strong force will be necessary. They will be responsive, well-equipped, and reliable. Regarding the departments of, so we've already touched on courts and the courts structure. So regarding the Department of Corrections, I think I just will note briefly that careful consideration around incarceration versus community-based reparations will be given. Of course, it will depend on the offense committed, but what we don't want to build is a system where we're just funneling people through the incarceration, funneling people through prison and out with hope that that will just fix the problem. And research from other countries, other states around the world has shown it's not quite so. Incarceration is not the only answer. Again, and that is why engaging a different method, such as including Omenala in the way we attempt to resolve disputes will be necessary as well. So regarding the different models of criminal justice, the Biafran criminal system justice system will combine the due process model and the crime control model. So due process is essentially more where things are done the right way, if you think of a trial, hearing, court, have all the procedures been following, has this person been dealt with fairly? Whereas some countries who adopt crime control have more emphasis on punishment, take more conservative approach to ensuring that the offender is essentially what's the word, when they held accountable for their actions. And so there's more of a emphasis on, you do the crime, you do the time. It's good. It has its pros and cons. In fact, both models have its pros and cons, and a lot of countries adapt one or the other. But in my opinion, I think our criminal system should combine both, because they're both are necessary. If one commits a heinous crime, you don't just walk away from it. But at the same time, we want to, still maintain our citizens, even whether or not they committed crime, they still have dignity as a person. They still have the right to be represented, the right to go through the due process. And we want to give them that opportunity. So the due process, the system will combine both processes, due process model and crime control, to reflect traditional values as well. I think in the way we do things in Igbo land, naturally, both models are playing. Let's give this person opportunity to speak. Let's hear what they have to say. But also, you're not going to get away with, if you've wronged the community, you've wronged society, a wrong has been done in the land. You're not necessarily going to just walk away scotch-free. So both are in play. So that is why we want our system to reflect both models. Reflect traditional values that prioritize safeguarding individual rights and freedoms alongside managing criminal conduct to maintain public order in society. So that is my take on the models of criminal justice. With regards to civil justice, the system in Biafra will handle cases presented to the civil court by individuals, by organizations, and at times local or central government entities to facilitate dispute resolution. So these cases could involve conflicts related to business contracts, debts, neighborly disputes, or debt recovery. Similarly, attempts will be made to resolve such disputes through traditional methods, such as engaging omenala, initially, before proceeding through the hierarchical court system. Okay. Looking forward. Okay, so the Ministry of Justice in Biafra will explore enhancing the utilization of AI to establish the most efficient and impartial justice system in Africa. So with ambitions to extend this model globally, this system will serve as a guiding framework for other African nations to adopt. So I believe it is important to lead by example, and we're all in this position. We are all in our respective positions doing so. And this nation will be one that will influence and impact other African nations. And I believe that our criminal justice, our justice system at large will be an exemplary one that will be looked onto, one that can be adopted by other nations. If in the future, through the use, when I say utilization of AI, this is what I mean. So by leveraging advanced machine learning algorithms and comprehensive data analysis, we aim to eliminate human error and prejudice from judicial processes. And we've seen where human error and bias and prejudice has really run the nation down in the judicial process. We've seen where bribes are involved. We've seen dishonesty. We've seen, you name it. We've seen it, and we've seen it fail. So that will not be the case for us. And one positive way of many ways in the use of AI as the world evolves is eliminating that prejudice and human error from processes. Then the initiative will encompass a wide range of applications for the use of apps, from predictive policing to automated case management. So I'm in my work environment where we use electronic files only. So moving towards that paperless society, but before society, at least a paperless department, like the Ministry of Justice department can be working towards something like that. It also helps with security as well. It makes things easier in that sense. Anyway, this initiative will encompass a wide range of applications, from predictive policing to automated case management and even virtual courtrooms, ensuring that justice is not only served swiftly, but also fairly. Just on that note of swiftly and fairly, a lot of the delay, a lot of the downsides of some of the court processes or court systems that I've been exposed to in different countries around the world is that there's usually always, a backlog of cases or a delay for whatever reasons, especially coming off the back of COVID. Well, in the country that I'm in, at least now, our system is really behind schedule. But one of the other reasons why that is because of how it's based. It's based on an old system, a very old system that is not quite automated. So if we can automate things, we can electronize things, if that's a word, the system will operate a lot more swiftly and minimize of backlog. The rollout will include extensive training for legal professionals to adapt to these new technologies, as well as rigorous testing phases to guarantee the accuracy and reliability of AI systems. Yes, public transparency will be a cornerstone for this transformation, with regular updates and open forums to address any concerns and gather feedbacks from citizens. So again, at every process and all that we're doing, I think it is important to keep that open dialogue with our communities, with our citizens, keep them involved in the process. We're not just doing this for them, we're doing this with them. I think that is one of the best ways to achieve a successful system, including the people you're actually serving at as much as possible. The ultimate goal is to create a justice system that embodies the principles of fairness, accountability, and integrity. And we look setting a new standard for legal excellence. Yes. By doing so, we hope to foster a more equitable society where every individual has access to impartial and timely justice. This pioneering effort will not only benefit Biafra, but will also inspire neighboring nations to embrace innovative solutions for their own judicial challenges, paving the way for a unified, progressive legal landscape across Africa, and to be honest, across the world. But we'll start from home first. Oh yeah, so that's it. Yes, that concludes my introductory presentation to the Ministry of Justice. Otherwise, thank you so much for attending. Thank you for taking your time out to be here. And I'm honored to be able to provide you with all this information regarding our Ministry of Justice. There is, more to come in the future, but this is just for now at this introductory level to share with all I have to share with you. So, Biko, please feel free to ask.
Thank you, Minister Jen. EU Rep, are you there? Deputy EU Rep, are you there? I want you to say something before we attend to some questions. And also some of the ministers of the cabinet that may intend to say one or two. The microphone will be open to you first before we take a general questions. Obi, over to you, please. EU Deputy Rep.
Thank you, Minister of Information. Good evening, Biafrans, and good evening, PM. Good evening, all the cabinet members. I thank you all for joining this presentation today. It is important what we have done today. I thank you so much, Minister of Justice. Mother Jane. It's really, I'm so proud of you. I thank you so much. You have narrated our justice system and the things that Biafra need to look out to. So, it's just amazing to see how we grow step by step and how we just becoming a nation before our very own eyes. Thank you so much. It was an amazing presentation. I don't have questions, but I just want to thank you so much and to tell Biafrans that they should be proud because Biafra were a mother. Thank you so much.
Thank you. EU rep, are you there? You have something to say? Minister Luke Iwunze, ambassador, you have to say something, please. Unmute yourself.
Thank you, my able Minister of Communication, Your Excellency, Prime Minister, members of Cabinet in the House, Biafrans, a new day has dawned on us. This is a new day. As I'm listening to this presentation, my heart is overwhelmed with joy because we are restoring dignity, we are restoring identity. Can you imagine a Biafra where if you don't lock your door, you will sleep? Can you imagine a Biafra where when you enter a car, you are happy? Can you imagine a Biafra where when you see a policeman or woman, you feel safe? You are not intimidated. Nobody is telling you I can do anything and nobody will ask. It is a new day for us. I am excited. I know that the best of our life is here with us. Thank you, Jen, for you exceeded my expectation. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador Iwunze. Great to have you there. Okay, we go to Sister Ugochi. Over to you. You may start your camera if you want.
I'm okay.
Pastor Rose,
Good
you may
evening,
start
everybody.
your camera if you want.
Good evening, our
Good evening.
PM, Information Minister, Cabinet members, Biafrans, Jane. Thank you for a beautiful presentation. I'm very happy how it's been presented. And as you said, this is just the basic, the first presentation. The only area I might like to ask question is regarding, Aligbo, we say Aligbo nwere mmadụ. Aligbo nwere mmadụ ahụ, Aligbo was really Aligbo before the British came and messed it up. And as we know, our Igbo people regard their chiefs, their Eze, their Igwes. And now we're starting a new government.
Yes.
My question on this aspect is, how do you think, with what we know about Igbo people, because Igwe si mmadụ rụrụ ala na obi ya, Igwe will give his own verdict, and then the government will give their own verdict. How do we see the Igwes working very well on a smooth line with the government? Because these are critical things when it comes to Igbos as we know it.
Thank
So
you.
I don't know how that fine line is going to be defined so that there won't be like clashes of power between the traditional rulers and the government.
Yes, that's
This is just something I think might need more clarification, or maybe later on in your next presentation. But this is the area I kind of have a little bit of concern because of how the traditional rulers are before the British came, because they might want to bring that back, and now we have a government that they have to work with.
Yeah, and thank you for so much for your question. And I think that's the key question. That's the key statement there, work with. So I did mention what you're saying is part of what I was mentioning and when referring to Omenala being restored, because you're right. Prior to colonization, we already had a system, to be honest. So it's about working with that and prioritizing tradition, prioritizing, so it's going to be a work in process. How do we incorporate the, like, each regions as and each place, like how incorporating that alongside with current, like, the system, the new system. But it definitely was not, I'm fully aware of it, is what I should say. And that is why I mentioned how our system will work to reintroduce or reincorporate our Igbo traditions, the way we did things, especially where it's working, and how we can continue that. And that will take priority before the Western system. That's how I see it. And it's just a matter of fleshing out how that will run. But it's a great question. Thank you so much for your observation. And it is something that will be expanded on in due time.
Okay, my second question, which is my last question, is you mentioned AI, which, as we know, is artificial intelligence, which is a different entity on its own altogether. And I know it's working. Although the Western world are using it, and it's something even them are struggling to work very well within their system. So how do we plan to use AI in a system that is totally new to most of us?
Yeah, so I mean, it's not something that will just malite straight away. It will be, that's also why I included it in the looking to the future. In the future, this is something, as it gets refined, and it is being refined, there's a lot of positive aspects to AI. There's space for it. There is space for it in our system. It may not be just so, it might even be in the next 3, 4, 5 years. It may not be so immediately, but as it is refined, I think it will be incorporated, just to reduce those errors, biases, bureaucratic red tapes. How exactly, that will, again, step by step. But I appreciate that you are thinking about these things. It's only right to do so. Looking at AI the way it's developing now, there's lots of different questions, gaps, loopholes, concerns, and that is fair. But looking at the potential it has, to enhance our criminal justice system, and our justice system as a whole, it has a lot of potential. And that's why I placed it in the things to expect for the future kind of category of my presentation. Dalu?
Thank you, Nne.
I think the next.
All right, we go to the next person. Where is Pastor Rose that we saw here? Pastor Rose, where are you? Your hand was up before.
Yes, I see she's here.
Okay. Unmute yourself, Pastor Rose.
My sisters, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, says, our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, first of all, introduced our Prime Minister, Mazi Simon Ekpa. He called him his spiritual son. He said, let us go and listen, because he's taking us to a new dimension. He prophesied this and people said no. But today is actually a reality. Sir, Nnamoma, Ekele, Otito, ka every brigi, every Biafra, Buna Biage, for this work you have done. Ana Sika Nwakaranna, you have done great for living and seeing a great work God has used you to produce for Biafra. Ask him, thank you, sir. You and your wife, sir, thank you. My sister, my, I don't know what to say. We are proud of you. Thank you for this opportunity. You want to show that indeed this is a nation. And I'm promising you with my children, with everything, that we are going to follow the law, because we know that this is heaven on earth. This is heaven, the miracle that our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, has said. Our Prime Minister, Mazi Simon Ekpa, just asked for 100 people, but God has given him the wisdom that supersedes the wisdom of Solomon. And he has used this opportunity to bring us. And what we are seeing now, nobody will doubt it. And I said, thank you for giving yourself to come and serve for Biafra. Thank you, sir, you and your wife. May Chukwu Okike Abiama bless you. Ihe a na-eme wu ihe mmụọ. Onye anyị na-achụrụ aja nwoke mmụọ. And it is those their hands are clean, those their mind will enter the land of Biafra. Thank you. That's what I am, is to say, Ebo, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Pastor Rose. We go to Director General of Biafran Government Foreign Affairs Ministry, Dr. Joy Irobi, over to you.
Okay, thank you. Minister of Information.
You can start your camera. You can start your camera if you want.
No, it's okay. Camera is not necessary.
All right.
Great Biafrans, good evening all. Minister Jane, I wanted to say really great presentation. It was really, really lovely to hear you explain things that are normally complicated in a very simple way that even us can understand. So thank you for that lovely presentation. So I wanted to ask you, since you mentioned AI, and of course, we are looking forward in the future. What are your thoughts concerning forensic biology, forensic DNA typing? Because recently I saw this Interpol review. Well, recently it's about 2 years ago now. The 20th Interpol International Forensic Science Symposium. They were there talking about rapid DNA testing, how they're going to use law enforcement DNA database, plus investigative genetic genealogy DNA database. And I think especially for the genetic genealogy DNA database, we need it in Biafra. So what are your thoughts concerning forensic biology and how we are going to use basically SNP genotyping to really make sure that we know who is who? Because we know there are a lot of mixed blood running around in Biafra land. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the question. It's really a simple answer. Anything that will promote and that will allow for efficiency, that allow for accuracy, that allow for a better system. My thoughts around it is that we will, have it on board. It might take time. Again, it's something as we develop and establish ourselves in the future, something that, it may not just happen straight away, but yes, like you said, if our goal is safety and integrity, transparency, forensic biology testing is sort of promotes all of those values that I mentioned in the presentation. It will help with that. So yes, in short,
Okay.
I think it's something definitely to be taken on board. Just have to do it in the right way. Again, with a lot of crosses and checks and balances and things of that nature. But it's very I welcome that idea.
Okay, so definitely let me know when you're interested, because I have a lot of experience in forensic science and I really want to push it through. So get me involved in that particular project, and we will make sure that Biafra is the best. Thank you. I'm sure your dad will be so pleased. You're really doing a great job. Dalo.
Thank you so much. Yeah, next
Thank
person.
you, Dr. Robi. Is Academic Highness over to you, please? Unmute yourself. Is Academic Highness?
Yeah, good evening, brothers and sisters. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, well.
Can you hear me? Yeah, and
Yes,
then
sir,
welcome
yes,
our
sir.
new Minister of Justice, Honorable Jane. You're welcome, and also I extend the greeting warmly to the Ambassador of Biafra, Dr. Iwunze. Yes, let me go straight to the point. Just as you know, I'm His Academic Highness. You said, because I want to ask you a question, very simple question, based on your insignia. You said building a justice system that is fair, equitable, and accessible to all. And you equally said, Onye biri, ibe biri, in the lingua franca franensis. Based on that, I want to ask you the operative system in Biafra. Is it civil system or is it common law system in Biafra? Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good question. No, I didn't actually clarify that. But it will most likely be common law. I will confirm this as we develop, establish it more. Yeah, I'm going to say most likely to be common law, but kainene, otogesiwe dabe. Do you have any other questions?
Is Academic Highness, did you get the response in tandem with what you asked?
Yeah. That's a very, very brilliant answer. He said we are going to look upon that as soon as we go forward. Another question, Honorable Minister of Justice. I wanted to know if we are going to place the government above the constitution or to put the constitution above the government in Biafra. Thank you, Honorable Minister.
Yeah, so let me just quickly go back here. So the Constitution is at the foundation. And then out from there comes the government, which is executive, and then we have legislative and then judiciary. So Constitution will be the founding, will be the founding sort of, well, when you read it or when it's ready and presented to everybody, you sort of, it'll make a lot more sense. But essentially this is it. Constitution will come first. From that flows our three separation of powers: executive, legislative, and judiciary. So I hope that answers your question. But and I'm presenting this based on what I've read so far in terms of the Constitution of the United States of Biafra. Yeah. But I understand it's yet to be made.
Yeah. Thank you, Honorable Minister. God bless you and bless your office. Thank you, Ambassador. Thank you.
Thank you. his academic highness. We go to Chisom Ude. Chisom Ude, unmute yourself and
Yeah,
go with your
thank you
question,
very
please.
much. First of all, I say a great greeting to PM and his cabinet and all protocol duly observed. And Minister, thank you so much for the amazing presentation. My question is, I know some I've already heard two persons actually made mention of that, but I still want to a bit kind of emphasize on the need for that a little. I was actually wondering if on the structure, you made mention of it also when you talked about Omenala and talking about the justice system. Would you think it's something your office could consider to also put this Omenala as like the very first step in the justice system? Because I also carried out a research. Yeah, before you go on to all these other courts, the very formal justice system, when you talk about accessibility, you see that this customary system of alternative dispute resolution is very accessible to our people. And it kind of discourages people. It encourages dialogue and discourages a lot of litigation, which you also made mention of. When you have a lot of litigation, that you now have backlog of cases and all that. I mean, somehow it could still happen, but in order to work as much as possible to try to foster unity amongst people and to discourage always going to the courts, to help people to also maintain, because this is so that Omena we are talking about. So I don't know if your office is also would want to give that a kind of priority too, I would say. I mean, formal system is also good. Yeah, but then to also consider if there's a possibility to add this on the structure, because I feel because the research I carried out in Senegal, in a local community, I saw like the potency of this local justice system, the alternative dispute resolution, where people have dialogue, they don't need to go to the court before they even like at one point they resolve it. So I'm actually thinking that it could be what your office might consider, That's a suggestion.
No, thank you so much.
And
Yeah.
yeah, please let me just give the second one immediately so you can just take both of them at the same time. And then in the future outlook, your office talked about the justice processes, like the police and all the rest of that. And also one of our ministers had made mention of all these forensic systems. And I was also wondering, because this is also the digital age. We also see this kind of cyber security, cyber crimes and everything. So I'm also wondering if your office is kind of thinking of having a kind of police, cyber police, that could also like help in that aspect. So somehow like it just came to my mind. I felt like, okay, maybe I could make mention of it to know what to think about that. Thank you.
Dalurina, that's perfect. Thank you for your contribution. First question, yes. So I did mention it here, like traditional methods of resolution will take priority. And part of that, not only Omenala, but it's akin to restorative justice approach, which is what you said. So sitting down, having that discussion, not going straight into the court, the orthodox court system or traditional court system. So doing it in this restorative way first, and then where it's not possible, or where it doesn't work, then we have the court process will still remain. But yeah, that's why Omenala, I think the way I'm hoping for it to run is that it will take priority. And then if it doesn't work, then we still have that backup system. But it definitely is, again, we don't want to just funnel people through a system, court system, and then it takes a lot of resources, takes money, costs money, takes time, it wears people out. I mean, I'm working in the system, you see it day in, day out. It's not very, pretty. So I know, I see your point. I see what you mean. And that's why we've mentioned, I've mentioned it here. So to answer that question, essentially, yes, there will be a more accessible, restorative approach rather than just boom, let's go to court today. Like that, yeah. And then second question regarding future cybersecurity, yes, that's the way, like if you look at the way, yeah, the world is evolving, and it'll be a shame if we sort of missed out or we didn't have covering in that area of cybersecurity, especially seeing how the way things are for us now. I mean, look, for example, we're here meeting on Zoom, you know, so that's just to show how things are heading. But yes, 100% yes, there's space, and there will be measures in place around cybersecurity and that department as well. So again, it's just step by step. But yes,
Yeah,
thank you for bringing that up, and thank you for your question.
Yeah, next question, Akaji Akunoba. Akaji, unmute yourself. You have the
Good
mic.
evening. Good evening, my Prime Minister. Good evening, Honorable Minister of Justice, and good evening, Biafrans. Please, I want just to ask two questions. Number one is there any provision for our constitution to be translated into all our local dialects, where every one of us will understand what our constitution is all about? And two, is there any provision for these fungias who are professionals in coal mining? Because very soon they will be trooping into Biafra land, taking for asylum. So is there any provision for such kind of people to be allowed in our street? Because we can't trust them with our scores and our children's scores. Thank you, Minister.
Sorry, I'll get you to repeat that second question. Any provision for who? Sorry, I didn't catch what you said. To be
For all these fungias who are professionals in coal minings and internet fraud.
Right.
Because very soon we'll be trooping in, seeking asylum in Biafra land. And because we don't trust them with our scores and our children's scores. So, is there any provision for them not to be allowed into Biafra land? Thank you, Honorable Minister.
Okay. Well, for your first question, one of the things I really
My
want.
first question is there any provision
Oh, no,
for
I'm sorry.
constitution to be?
I'm answering it. Yeah, I understood it. Sorry. I'm answering. So I'm saying one of the things that I really wanted to do really, and as you can see from my slideshows, is that incorporation of Igbo in our, whether it's in the presentation of the system, not just like PowerPoint presentation. I mean, the way that the justice system is presented to our citizens, English, Igbo, English, like having that side by side, just as I try to achieve in this slideshow. But essentially, yes, it's important to be, that whole point of accessibility to our system means having whatever documentation, not just constitution, but a lot of legislation, to the best that we can at least, translated to the different Igbo dialects for the different regions. And not just Igbo as well, obviously, looking at the 40 states now, there's other, non-Igbo speaking, but so every Biafran state, every Biafran, yes, region, state, the language that they will understand. Yes, so having the constitution translated to reach them, yes. And that won't be, I don't think that will be difficult. It's just a matter of pinpointing, which dialect and how, how to do it for each place, each state, each region. So yes, thank you for that. And then your second question, I think in due time, again, I think that's one for, like, as we approach measures will be put in place about the safeguarding of, the nation and who we want to let in, who we don't want to let in. But I think I'm not in the best position to answer that question right now because I'm just limited with that type of information. But it's definitely something that will be looked into. I think that's the best way I can put it. Sorry, it's not really an answer, is it? But if we're receiving or feeling any threat coming from outside, then we will stand our ground. Yeah, thank you for your question.
Thank you. Thank you. We go to Oyibo Dragon. Oyibo Dragon, over to you. Unmute yourself. Oyibo Dragon.
That's a great name.
Oyibo Dragon, are you there? Oyibo Dragon, not ready? Nena, are you there? Nena, unmute yourself. Oyibo Dragon,
Yes, I'm here. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, I'm here.
Could you please reduce the volume of your device?
I'm here. Good evening, everybody. Yeah, good evening, Minister of Justice. Could you please reduce the volume of your
Oyibo Dragon, please turn down the volume of your TV, then you can come back. Nena, over to you, please.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, my Honorable Minister. My greetings to my Prime Minister and all the cabinet members. I just want to appreciate our Justice Minister for a job well done. I don't have question, but I just want to encourage our Honorable Justice Minister to continue to focus on the best justice system for Biafra. Biafra is going to be an example what a nation should be. African nations have been subjected to darkness for centuries and centuries and centuries. The worst thing that happened to most of us, most of the African nations, is the injustice system that they established in various colonial countries, Nigeria being #1 example, where the highest corruption is found in the justice system in Nigeria. From the Supreme Court judge to the Chief Justice of Federation to everybody who wear that useless wig in Nigerian courts, they are corruption infested. So my Justice Minister, I want you to focus on a system that will be incorruptible. A system that will be not biased to anything. A system that will stand up to the executive. A system that will stand firm for the downtrodden. That is the system we are looking for. And I know it's going to be a Herculean task for you to obtain that system. The men and women are going to support you so that we can be able to stand firm and say that Biafra justice system is the best in Africa and also one of the best in the world. It will take a God to achieve it. And I know you have that God. Thank you, Mazi Iwenze, for giving us a gift. May the Lord bless you and your wife. Thank you, Biafrans. God bless you all.
Dalrina, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. We go to Teddy Megano. Teddy Megano, unmute yourself. Teddy Megano, you have the mic.
Yeah. Good evening, Biafrans. I appreciate Justice Minister for the eye-opening presentation. My question is pretty simple. And traditionally, in Omenala system in the Biafra, I know quite well there is this discrimination about the girl child in terms of property and assignment and so on and so forth. In the Omenala system, I have 5 girls, for instance. If we are to be the traditional Omenala system, they will discriminate against them, especially when it comes to large families, people are there, they will not assign any lands to them. Are we going to entrench their rights into the traditional Omenala system? Or how would we actually factor in the girl child positions and their rights in terms of all these properties and all whatnot as allotment to them?
Thank you so much, Mazi Teddy. I think that's a great question. And it's like, I think if we look overall, what we do want is, equitable and accessible system. But then at the same time, we want to incorporate Omenala. But where there's clash, which in this example you've given, there seems to be clash because it's no longer equitable if we're trying, if in our sense of, okay, it's not, is it really fair that, your daughters cannot inherit land or etc. When there is clash, I think it will be a matter of falling back to what is fair. So in the incorporation and the wanting to adapt Omenala and or use an Omenala as well, I think I did mention somewhere in the slide where it's like to an extent. So there are some beliefs and systems within Omenala that may not be favorable to today. So it's just a matter of careful navigation and seeing what is of benefit, to the greater interest. Yes, it's our tradition, but if it's not aiding in forward progression and movement, do we really cling on to it? Should we entrench it? I think probably not. It's a discussion that needs to be held, that will be held and unpacked more in the future. But just as in a nutshell, and to sort of briefly answer it, when things like that happen where there's that clash, I think the best thing to do, in my opinion, is go with what is fair, what is equitable, especially in this day and age. So I hope that answers your question.
Actually, I don't know if could be entrenched in order to safeguard them. Entrenched somehow, either the Omenala people having a discussion that all along we've been practicing this and it's not fair to all concerned. So this time around, probably
Teddy, the Minister of Justice just said this will be looked into and progressive discussions will come in. So don't push into it again. And let us remember that this is an introduction to the Ministry of Justice of the Biafran government. So everyone begin the mic, come and fire my Minister of Justice as if we are already in the Ministry of Justice of Biafra and Biafra is established. He's here to give an introductory part of what we will be looking at, and then a review will be made and the Prime Minister and his cabinet will go through many other things before a final verdict is taken. That's what I want everyone to have at the front of their mind, not at the back of their mind, so that they won't forget when they pick the mic, please. So, Maditedi, leave it there until discussions are made and progressive awareness are gotten and integrations are also taken into consideration. Thank you so much, Martin. Next person, please.
Thank you.
When you pick your mic, please be snappy because the Biafran government has a lot of programs that are lined up, and we wouldn't be here forever. Thank you so much. The next person, Biafra Abiago. Biafra Abiago, unmute yourself.
Hello, good evening, all.
Good evening.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Good morning.
Okay,
from
sorry. I'm so sorry I didn't join from beginning, but from the questions people are asking, I thought I will give some insight or my experience from the court system in Nigeria. I've worked in customary court in Nigeria from 1979 to 1981. So there is customary court, and that customary court deals with customs of the land. So it's being grouped from like local governments. And as at that time, every traditional issue, everything to do with traditional issue is dealt with in that court. So it's after, but the appeals start from, like, if after the judgment, you can appeal to magistrate court. From there, then you can continue to Supreme Court. But as the last speaker, the lady said, the Nigerian disease, which is bribery and corruption, I saw bribery and corruption in the highest order. And another thing I saw there was, how do I put it? It's like people practicing evil. Let me explain what I mean. There is a day we came to court and all the judges are sleeping because somebody who has whatever power can make them to sleep. So it's like you are there as a court clerk and you see that the judges behind you are sleeping. So how did they hear what was said? And whether it's by plan or by, to be honest, that's the first time I understand that people can use power and make people to sleep. So with that bribery and corruption, whether it's planned or not, I don't know. But I experienced it for 3 years. But if bribery and corruption can be controlled, there is already customary court. But whether it's still functioning now, that traditional rulers are being selected from the Fulani, I don't know. But as at the time I was there, there's customary court. And customary court, as the name implies, deal with every customary issues. So that's what I wanted to contribute anyway. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. We go to the next person. Ebon Samuel Isaac, over to you. Unmute yourself. Ebon Samuel Isaac. Ebon Samuel Isaac. Ebon Samuel Isaac, you're not ready. Betty Ada Biafra. Unmute yourself. Betty Ada Biafra. Betty Ada Biafra, you have the mic.
Hello. Are you hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you. Good morning. Good evening.
Hello, Missy Wunze, the Minister of Justice. I say congratulations to you. First of all, I have to say good evening to my PM and every other Biafran. Thank you, people. But pardon my my error. I greet everyone. So my question is not like a question, just to congratulate you. I'm happy that Biafra government have a lot of female ministers, and you being one of them and one of the youngest. I'm very happy to see you. What I'm trying to say may sound like a question or a suggestion. You know, in certain countries, they have what they call high street law centers and the Citizens Advice Bureau,
Yeah.
where people have to go to before considering the merit of their case to go to court, or where people who don't have money could go to get first-hand information. I hope that the Biafra government will like to introduce such things because Nigeria don't have it. Most of the time, it's not everyone that has a case and knows whether their case is meritorious or not for going to court, the real court.
Yeah.
So with these high street law centers and Citizens Advice Bureau, it is all being sponsored by the government, while the poor citizens who have a very low income and could not go to a real court, high court or magistrate or county court, they can go to the high street law centers. I hope that the Biafra government will be able to introduce such thing to help the poor ones, though the rich ones, they don't go there. It's mainly for the less privileged ones in the society, just to ensure that proper justice is served and that those less privileged ones are not left behind. So,
Yes.
yeah.
They will still have access. Thank you so much for that. I actually used to volunteer at the Citizens Advice Bureau where I live. So I know exactly what you mean, and where people from, lower ends of the society will, come and sort of present what their issues, and will have to, I try to help them. But I do hope that there will not be too much of a discrepancy in terms of high and low ends of, we do want an equal access opportunity. But that being said, yes, high street law, or another way is we put it here is like community law services. And we actually do have a Citizens Advice Bureau, word for word, services where I live. And so something like that will be implemented in the Biafran system as well. Thank you so much for your question, for your contribution.
Thank you. Adandi Munandi Egede, unmute yourself. Adandi Munandi Egede. Are you there?
Yes, Anamia.
Okay.
Hey,
What's your question?
na mumu nwa nwanyi enwe m ajụjụ cha ka mma nne m enwe m ajụjụ achọ nka nwere asụsụ ndị mbụ na ndị egede gọzie gị. Yes, because na imetere m n'ụla imetere m nne m. Hey, gịnị Igbo nwere ife ọnya ka m ji si na ewu ụmụ ife ebe ọsọkwa anyị nọrọ anyị na-achawa nwere ife kọrọ anyị. Ana m ekele Chukwu okike abịama n'ime ka mfat akpata m oyi awụgbuo na m since ị na-ekwu okwu, and especially mgbe imeta mgbe ị pụtara were asụsụ ndị gboo nalagodo dati ngozi karịrị ngozi from ndị mbụ na ndị egede, asụsụ na asụsụ ajaanị. O nwere ife dịka ya nwa m, asị Chineke m gọziele gị, mmụọ a n'Igbo ji ide ebube chekwa gị ebe ọnwụ na ịnọ na. In fact, ụzọ gị niile ya awụrụ gị ụzọ ije gị niile ya awụrụ gị ije awele. Nwa m ebe ọnwụ na ịbatara sọnsọ ife ka ihe na-enweta, bikos nọ ụmụ ife ka ịwụ ebe ijebelu wee cheta ebe isi wee cheta ife ịwụ. Nwa m ikwesịrị ịdị proud, ikwesịrị nọ ine onwe gị anyị tie aka n'obi si yes, awụ nwa ife. O nwere ife dị ka anyị and o nwere ife karịrị anyị. In fact, amụrụ ka m esi gwa gị okwu a, ana m ekene nne mụrụ gị na nna nyere gị ndụ. Ana m ekene ha ncha ha na-abụ because na ọ dịghị easy, is a challenge, and ị gosiri anyị ya. Nwa m jisi ike n'aka gị, ama that na everything ya dị good na Biafra land, especially na ana Igbo nna, because nke m ana Igbo ka nji eje. Ọkachasị ụmụaka nwere ọnụ ya ekwulu fanụ, fe nwe ọnụ ya ekwulu fanụ.
aka ọkachasị na ihe ahụ amụlọ nke m esigwa gị nwa m asị m Chineke m gọziele gị mmaji kwuru mmaji ya na-agọziri gị n'ụtụtụ ya na-agọziri gị n'efifie ya na-agọziri gị n'abalị wee nwere afịa na-anọ Igbo jiri wee dee ebube nkwọ eke oye afọ wee chee gị n'iru nwa m sị gị ebe onwe na na-eje ha duru gị na-eje ihe emenwuye ihe emenwuye ana m amụnye gị ọkụ ife n'aka wee sị na ọkụ ife ga ya atanata onye anyụnata istedo oya anyụ ọ na-achake mụọ ebe nya akwụkwọ ụtụtụ na-ewe n'abalị nwa m Chineke m gọzie gị sọnsọ ya ka m ji bịa wee sị ya gọziela m afọ mụrụ gị wee gọzikwara m nna nyere gị ndụ sị ya biko ya gọziela ha ncha niile ise 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 sọnsọ ya ka m ji bịa.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. We go to the next person, Williams Nemeka. Please, the hand should not be going up again because we have a fundraising that we should join. So the hand should not be going up again. As we see now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Chief Okereke, over to you. Unmute yourself. Chief Okereke, you have the mic.
Ndị Igbo ekele m ọnụ, ụmụ Biafra ekele m ọnụ, ebe ọ bụla m nọ ekele m ọnụ. Eziokwu o teele m nụra maka this forum. Ịma mgbe mmadụ mekata ya gba brek dịkwa ike were nwaanyị na-eso awụ m ochi onye Biafra mgbe a na-alụ ọgụ na Biafra ọmị na punish ndị
Chief Okereke, do well to flow in English or broken so that everyone can understand you, please.
So, ihe m na-ekwu ekele m onye ọbụla and ọnụ ma aha niile a na-aba mmadụ n'elu ụwa nne mmadụ na-aba ya ọ nwere ihe o menere.
Chief Okereke, you did not hear what I said?
Yeah?
Chief Okereke, I said do well to flow in English so that others may understand you.
Okay. So any name somebody is answering in this word given by the mother or the father or any person is in Igbo land means something. Then this iwunze. It means iwu, the law of ndinze, the law of the people. And it comes from that the local government before the white people. So I'm thanking all these young girls and young people here for the effort they have making to follow where Nnamdi Kanu stopped and Simon Ekpa started, and many of you continued. I thought it was a joke before, but now I know that it's no longer a joke. So we are talking about this judiciary. Yes. We have Obi. In that Obi, that people started judging people in the Obi before going to customary court. So there's what we call the women, married women outside, Umada. Umada helps to judge something with the women. Nobody's allowed to go to court. Now, what I'm talking about now is everything has spoiled. Even the police has taken the power of judgment and not allowing things to go to court. If somebody has money, he gives to the police. Police will just judge everything there without going the due processes of sending the person to court. So this is what we should try to abolish, allowing police people to do judgment that they don't know. By hearing from one person, they take money and judge without going to court. So the judiciary here should know how to should stop that thing so that people should stop suffering about police something.
Yes.
Police intimidate, but court people follow the rules. So I thank you, thank all of you. Thank
you.
Jenny Wunze. When I
Valerie
when I heard about Wunze, I thought it's from Olo. The name from Olo. Thank you people very much. I think this is the first time I just happened to join you people, and in the future I will participate fully. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And yeah, just to quickly touch on what you've said, corruption, bribery, all of those things will not be part of our system. I can guarantee you. Yeah.
Thank you, Minister of Justice.
How many other,
Next
sorry,
question
just
is,
in terms of time, sorry, Minister Mazi Sani, because I'm like in the next day for me, it's Saturday morning, and how many other questions maybe 2 more or 3 more?
we take just 3 more, then you can call it a day.
Thank you so much.
3 more. The next 3 now goes. Okay. Silvanos or Ariako. My Silvanos, over to you.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, our Minister of Justice, our sister.
Yes.
We thank you for everything. We thank you for all your doggedness. We thank you for bringing time to see that Biafra is moved. My question is, are we going to adopt some of the colonization institution in Biafra land? First question. And is this law cover both federal and state? Or the state will have to do their own according to the way our leader Mazin and Carlos said before? Are this federal law or both the state?
That's a brilliant question. I think for the first question, in a sense, yes, there will be an integration of Western law. I know it's, the law of how, people.
No, I said some of the institutions that the colonialism institute in our land. Are we going to adopt them or are we going to abolish them?
Yeah, so it depends what's working, what's not working. I think it's a matter of having, like, they'll probably
like this monarch system in our land. The British brought it.
That's correct.
Because British brought it. That is why they call them warrant chief. Before the British come, our people didn't have. That is why they say our people didn't have king, because they can't call your child a chief, and they come again. They can't have another king. Wali Iboma, our people named their child Chief and later on they can't have king, because this institution is instituted by Britain. Our people govern themselves, family by family. That is why it takes them long time to break our land. Because before they come, they ask them, who is your king? They say they don't have king. Before they know it, all the senior head in every family, they come in a place. That is why in every Igbo land, they have a ground where they assemble, play masquerade, there they talk. Before they come, they can't meet anybody. It's those lazy ones that didn't go farm when others go. They pick, make them Kotima, from Kotima, they give them warranty. And they brought corrupt in our land today. This is how the corruption from all those Igbes. In the history of our land, we don't have monarch. We have the elders in the family that rule that is they call them everybody. That is why they call us democratic people, because our people live by Omonna, and they discipline themselves, and it can't go out above their law, because every Omonna have their law. They maintain themselves, they maintain peace. So like when we are talking to Omena, this is the genesis where our Omena started.
Yes.
To go back to our own and our own. They make peace within themselves. When brothers and brothers quarrel, this woman go send the delegate. This one go send delegate. They bring them together. They bring them in and they decide the matter within themselves. That is why this is monarch of it. Our leader Nandi Kalu said that when we have Biafra, we have to vote on it if we like it or not. So no matter say his father is one of
them. And it can't be revisited, but I think at this stage it's going to be like a hybrid structure, taking what works.
Because what we have that time in those that worshiping they are the peacekeepers in every day in the community. But this is Britain for them, destroy them.
And I got DJ. We're not going to just follow blindly the British or that way, as what you said. Yes, there's a huge influence of their Western institution in our system, but like I said, incorporating Omenala is important, and being able to use what works, but we have to stay flexible. Is not every aspect of Omenala may be beneficial for the direction we want to move forward, even though that might sound harsh, but it's true. Like Mazi Teddy was talking about his daughter, what about when women are excluded from inheriting land? So do we just, so it's a matter of taking what works, but not being so fully immersed to, we just want to follow the Western way or the Western institution, but doing it our way. It's just going to be the Biafran way. It's going to be different. We will touch on our tradition, our Omenala, the way we do things, where it is equitable, where it's fair. We will touch on those. We will hold on to that, but we will also implement new ways. And I think we shouldn't be afraid of having new systems in place or different systems. At the end of the day, we are in control to create culture for the the nation of Biafra and how it will look like for our next generation. So, but yeah, like you said, can be voted upon in the future. It can maybe, having a deeper look at the structure, how we want to incorporate traditions, again, step by step. But this is just introduction. But the other question around federal and state level, yes, so like we have where I was talking about the Constitution and the separation of powers, that is also federal level. And then each states, will have their government as well, and they will be at freedom to do things. I can't remember if that was mentioned or not, but there will be a level of freedom as usual for each region. And then, but everything sort of higher in that hierarchical structure falls back to the Constitution and to whoever's, the governing state that's that's in power at the time. But I hope that helps. I can't fully answer your question, but thank you so much for your contribution. Next question.
Yeah, next question is Andy Emeka Esquire. Andy Emeka Esquire.
Mazi Sonny, I think one more person, because there are more hands going up. After Mazi Andy, I think one more person, I think.
That would be good. Thank you.
Yeah, that's the last person. Andy Emeka Esquire, over to you.
Okay. Please, am I being heard?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. My greetings.
Yeah.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on your zones and location. I actually want to congratulate the Honorable Minister for Justice. I also want to appreciate our able Prime Minister and his entourage, all the ministers here, and protocols all observed. And I truly want to appreciate. Mine is more of a commendation to our lordship here. Your acceptance. I have actually watched and listened, very attentively to your articulative way of answering questions, both the ones that are in bullet form, both the ones that are in Obunigwe forms, and how you carefully dodge some of these ones because they are meant to be dodged. I am telling you, if you give the Biafrans the room, they are going to bury you with questions that have not been answered from the foundation of the earth. But I thank God for the wisdom and the knowledge you have. What a wonderful section. This is said to be introductory. Good afternoon. Luckily, I happen to also come from this side of profession, and I think even though being bred and buttered in the zoo, as somebody in the legal field also, and with some vast experience in the legal systems and all that. My encouragement, my recommendation, or my commendation to you this day is on your acceptance and willingness, and the way your calmness in trying to give some answers. There were some certain issues that actually came up here. Some of these issues that have to do with our tradition, our tradition. Let us not also forget in a hurry that Biafra is multifaceted with languages, tongues and accents. Because for instance, if you go to let's talk about like Ebonyi State now, different states with different tongues. Let's talk about Imo State, different state, different what do you call it, locality with different dialects and the rest of them. I know very well that in law is something more like some other persons have actually said that we have different our traditional court system that handles some traditional issues, and it is also said that any traditional law or rule that is not in consonance with good conscience, equity, and fairness, such laws, such rules, such traditional decalogues are not. It's null and void ab initio, because it will be clamped down by other courts of competent jurisdiction. Just like somebody asked a question: are we going to be? Is there going to be a carry carry along or carry over of some of these rules and laws and all that? And your answer was quite up. There are some, like some of the laws, if the zoo, where we actually invariably would have said we saw ourselves, if this geographical location were a place that evolves, because the law is meant to evolve with the people. You know, it's a progressive thing. The law that's applicable today. Okay, presently today, I live in Germany, and I have also taken time to study some of the laws operative in Germany. And I discovered that their law changes, if not per week, per month, monthly. Any of the law they find out and all that, the next thing is they go into discussion. They go into debate about it. They go into debate, and before you know what is happening, they are already bringing out gazettes. They are already gazetting and changing the ones they make just like 3 months ago, you know, to suit the people. Because the essence of this law is for the people, for the people, and for the well-being, for coexistence. You know, it made it to that level where I live in the western part. It's called, my area is called North Rhine-Westphalia, and there are people who live in München, Hamburg, and the rest of them. You know, what is applicable here?
Please don't forget to keep it brief, please.
Okay. So I quite commend you, and I in appreciation, I also encourage you. I would rather suggest that this kind of fora, this kind of meeting, be put up from time to time, where we'll,
thank you to all the
I
ministers
think I
of the
got the
cabinet.
gist of what he was trying to say anyway. Yeah, more frequent sort of engagement, and yeah, that law is fluid. But yeah, thank you, Mazi, Andy.
Minister Jen, please give your closing remarks, Minister Jen.
Thank you so much.
Because we have to round up.
Yeah, Obidemuta Otu Unusiwena Batameba. I'm very grateful. Thank you again for your time. Thank you for your confidence and your trust in me. Our President, our Prime Minister, thank you for your faith in me as well, and for this opportunity. Thank you to my father as well, who's here cheering me on. There is more to come. There's more research, more information to be provided. We're working on setting up a very comprehensive sort of website that will have all this information and be accessible to you and eventually to people once Biafra is established as well. But I'm more than happy to receive message or feedback, like any if anybody wants to, any contribution or any ideas, like I really appreciate hearing from, I think, Nwadobi Joy. It will be about forensic, biology testing and all those things, or anything that you think will be of value to our system. As you know, we are in this developmenting stage. Let me know. Please reach out via message. But otherwise, yeah, well, for me, it will be have a great day. It's 8:30 Saturdays. I think you guys have not seen tomorrow yet, but I'm in tomorrow. For most of you anyway, depending where you are, but I appreciate everyone's taking time out to be online for this, and thank you, and hopefully we'll talk again soon. Thank you, Mazi-san.
Thank you so much, Minister Jen. And EU Deputy Rep, I wanted to say something before we call it a day.
Thank you, Minister of Information, Mazisani. Actually, I don't have much to say. Our Minister of Justice has said it all, and a lot of Biafrans have spoken well. Everybody is prepared. Everybody is waiting to hear what they're gonna what to expect regarding our law. What I can guarantee Biafrans is that this government is a government that holds justice so dear. And it's not a government that would like to betray the other or intimidate the other. It's a government that want to bring justice to every Biafrans and also people that live in Biafra land, not just for Biafran. So this foundation we are laying today, like our minister said, she's coming for introduction presentation. So we don't have everything at hand right now. As time goes on, we will talk with each other and know what's best, what works best for Biafra, and all these things will be incorporated in our law. So, like she said, if you have questions or ideas, please don't hesitate to bring it, because remember, we are building our nation together. Thank you so much. I will say good night from my side, and may God bless Biafra and our prime ministers and our Biafrans as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good
Thank
night.
you.
Great
Deputy
job.
CEO.
Great job.
Thank
Great job.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And to every Biafran, this is what we should have in front of your mind. Please, when you are trying to juxtapose or look for a country that you can pick examples of a working law or system, don't make a mistake of using one Nigeria to compare to what will be happening in Biafra. Because it's like looking for a lukewarm and then using a lion to compare. The two can never meet, and a lion can never give birth to a goat. Neither can you have a dog being a baby of an elephant. Look for other countries that are having good results to make examples and to extract something from in comparison to the Biafra that you expect. That's what we are building: transparency, confidence, and integrity, where everything will be felt to the letter. I salute all of you. We are moving into another program that is ongoing now. Aludo State is having a fundraising, and the link is out there. You may join to give your support. And tomorrow is our regular mega fundraising. Do well to partake. And on Sunday is the European tour, where all the European countries will be seated to host the Prime Minister and his entire cabinet. All Biafrans are hereby informed to be part and parcel of the events of the weekend. Greetings from the Biafran Republic government in exile, and from the Prime Minister and his entire cabinet. They were from here. We love you all. Stay well.
Thank you
There,
so much. There